Alright, so, the Citadel is hiding something. And I'm not talking about, like, I don't know, weird Rick experiments or whatever. I'm talking about Mortys.
Jeez, Rick, what is this place?
The Citadel of Rick's. It's the secret headquarters for the
Specifically, like, what happens when they grow up. Because, and this is gonna sound crazy, but, like, stay with me. There are literally no adult Mortys at the Citadel. Like, none. Zero. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, they probably just leave or whatever. No. They don't. They just don't. And we're gonna prove it. You think I'm just yapping here? Nah, bro. Because the thing is, the show has been dropping hints about this for seasons, and like, nobody's talking about it. The Citadel has a system. A protocol, if you will, for dealing with Mortys who get too old. And it's, way darker than you think. So what happens to a Morty when he turns 18? Strap in, gang. Shit's about to get real. The observation. So, guys, Tales from the Citadel, right? That episode is literally, and I mean literally, a full tour of the Citadel. We see, like, everything. Morty cops and Morty student and Morty factory workers and like, the whole functioning society. And here's what's insane. Every single Morty looks the same age. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Look at this. Every single one. They're all teenagers. Maybe like 14, 15 tops. And you'd think in a city with, I don't know, thousands of Mortys, you'd see at least one adult, right? Like one guy in his 30s with a 9-to-5 boring job with a mortgage. Or like an old retired Morty. Something. But nope, the oldest Morty we ever see is Evil Morty, and even he's like 16, maybe 17, I guess. Wait. But here's where it gets weird. The Ricks, they age normally. We see young Ricks, old Ricks, middle-aged Ricks, all different ages and stuff. But the Mortys are like just frozen at 14, and the show just decided to not explain it. It shows you this and moves on, like it's hoping you won't notice, you know? So, and now here I am, locked in to research and find out why. Why are there no adult Mortys at the Citadel? Hold that question, we're gonna answer it. Elimination. All right, so maybe there's like a simple explanation. Maybe Mortys just leave when they get older. Like, they graduate, move to another dimension, start their lives, or whatever. You know, like normal humans do. And that just makes sense, right? Never been so wrong, because we literally see what happens to Rickless Mortys. Tales from the Citadel shows us. They get dumped into Mortytown. It's basically a slum, you know? And even there, even in the place with like zero rules, zero oversight, literal anarchy, there's not a single adult Morty, not one. Okay, so maybe they age differently? Like maybe the Citadel has some weird aging thing going on? Also wrong, because our Morty literally got stuck in a matrix for 17 years and came out as a full-grown adult. So like, Mortys can age. The aging works just fine, no doubts from my side at least. Which means I guess the Citadel isn't stopping them from growing up. It's just making sure they don't, you know, stick around long enough to do it. You see where this is going? The smoking gun. Here's where it gets absolutely messed up. You ready? So, close Rick counters of the Rick kind. The council gives Rick a voucher for a free replacement Morty.
We would like to compensate you with this voucher for a free replacement Morty.
Most people think that's just like a joke. Haha, Mortys are replaceable. Funny. But listen. If you actually pause the episode and read the fine print on that voucher, and I did because I'm insane apparently, it says the warranty is void if the Morty, and I quote, exceeds emotional maturity threshold. I'm sorry, what? Emotional maturity threshold? Like they literally put an expiration date on Mortys based on how mature they get. Think about that for a second. The Citadel treats Mortys like freaking iPhones, you know? You use them for a few years, they start acting up, you swap them for a new model or whatever. But the thing is, Mortys aren't phones. They're people. Like actual living people. And if the Citadel is replacing them, where are the old ones going? Haha, someone call 911. Yeah, exactly. The why. Okay, so why would they do this? Here's what people miss. Mortys aren't just grandsons. They're tools, dead ass. Rick says this in season 1. Yeah, I rewatched it to make sure, don't judge me. A Morty exists to hide Rick's genius brainwaves from enemies. Rick's brain is so advanced it literally sends out signals, but a Morty's smooth brain cancels that out completely. It's perfect cover. And this works great when Morty's like 14. You know, scared little dude, does whatever grandpa says. His brain is exactly the type Rick needs. But, what happens when that Morty turns like 25? When he's seen some stuff? When he stops being scared and starts, I don't know, thinking for himself? His brain waves change. An adult brain is different. And an adult who's watched Rick destroy families and ruin lives, who's finally figured out the game, that's not camouflage anymore. That's a threat. So basically, the Citadel can't have thousands of adult Mortys walking around asking questions. So they don't let it happen. The proof keeps stacking. Wait, there's more. Summer of All Fears. The Matrix episode, right? Remember this? Morty deadass spends 17 years trapped in a simulation. Yeah, I counted the timeline because apparently that's what I do now. Fights in a whole war, watches his day ones get killed, develops real PTSD and all that, and like he is genuinely messed up for life now. And he becomes a full adult with like trauma and memories and stuff. Yeah, we all know that. Obvious stuff. And what does Rick do? The second he gets Morty out, memory wipe. Forces him back to 14. Doesn't even hesitate. Poor Morty. Because you see, an adult Morty isn't really a Morty. He's broken, defective, needs to be reset basically. And this isn't just our Rick being evil or whatever. This is like standard procedure. Rick Mirai Jack shows us the factories. The Citadel is literally cloning Mortys, aging them to 14, implanting fake memories, and shipping them out like Amazon packages or something. It's an assembly line. And I mean, assembly lines don't keep defective products, right? They just, you know, throw them away. So, next chapter, the disposal. So where do they go? The Mortys who, you know, age out, who get too old or too smart. And we are lucky because Tales from the Citadel shows us. There's this scene, and this is dark, where the Citadel just shoots dead Ricks and Mortys out of airlocks into space. Like garbage or socks, you know, socks, you throw them, never mind. And at the end of the episode, when Evil Morty takes over, we see it. Like dozens of bodies floating in freaking space. Ricks who asked inconvenient questions and Mortys who lived too long, I guess. The thing is, the Citadel doesn't have retirement homes, unfortunately. You know, government is shut down, no financing and stuff. Sounds familiar, isn't it? So yeah, it has a disposal system. And like, nobody cares. The Ricks don't care because Mortys are replaceable. The Mortys? They just don't know. Have no clue. Because the ones who figure it out die before they can warn anyone, you know? It's perfect. Self-sustaining, self-cleaning. Evil Morty is the proof. Look, you want to know what it takes for a Morty to survive past 18? Look at Evil Morty, the only Morty who made it to his late teens. And what did he have to do? The guy literally seized control of an entire Rick and used him as a puppet, like full mind control. And if you go back and watch, which I did at 2 a.m., don't ask, you can see the wires in his head the whole time. Straight up murdered his way to president. Election was rigged from the start. Executed everyone, and I mean everyone. And then just torched the whole Citadel and dipped to another reality. Wow. That's what it takes. Like, total war. Because the Citadel will never let a Morty grow up peacefully. They can't. The whole system is built on Morty staying young and dumb, basically. One Morty who breaks free is a threat to every Rick in existence. So they, you've guessed it right, kill them before they get the chance. And once you notice this, like, you can't really unsee it. So every time Morty starts showing independence, the show just slams reset. He gets confident, something knocks him down. Kinda sounds like your friend in Fortnite blaming stream snipers for every fuck up. Except in Morty's case, the game literally is just rigged against him. He questions Rick? Rick does something to make him fall in line, you know? He ages up? Memory wipe. The show has been screaming this at us. Mortys aren't allowed to grow up. Not at the Citadel, not in Rick's garage, not anywhere, honestly. Because a Morty who grows up stops being a Morty. He becomes something Rick's can't manipulate, and Rick's would rather off every Morty than lose control. It's textbook infantilization. I learned this in my psych elective, don't at me. So it's when you keep someone mentally stunted, they stay dependent. The moment they develop critical thinking, threat. Same psychology as cult leaders or narcissistic parents. Just way, way more murdery. Do the math. Okay, so think about the numbers real quick. The Citadel's been running for like what? Decades? Maybe longer, I don't know. Thousands of Ricks. Thousands of Mortys. Mortys going to school, getting jobs, getting reassigned when their Rick dies and stuff. But have you noticed that we never see a Morty graduate? Or never see one get promoted or whatever? Never see one turn 20? Where are they? The show told us. Airlocks, disposal chutes, the garbage dimension where the Citadel dumps everything it doesn't need, basically. At the end of the day, the Citadel turned out to be something different than a traditional society. All evidence points to this. It's a factory where Mortys are the product. And when products expire, you throw them away. The truth. So let's face the worst part. Our Morty doesn't know, like none of them do. They think they've got futures ahead of them. Think if they just make it through, things will work out eventually, you feel me? But they won't, just won't. The Citadel won't let them. And Rick knows. He's always known. I mean, he helped build it. So yeah, my dear viewer, next time you watch Rick and Morty, pay attention. Watch how Rick treats Morty. How fast he's willing to replace him, reset him, restart him. Because to be honest, Morty isn't his grandson. He's a product with an expiration date. And that date is coming. Damn, that's deep. Subscribe.